Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of Hot Rod Blues. I'm your host, Sean Burton, along with my man,
Mike Abbott, Steel Rose Metal Co.
Oh, hold on. Hold on.
that guy.
Let me find myself. Yeah, Sean Young from Kingfish Metalworks. And Mr. Brereton, who have you brought with us tonight?
Oh, we've got Larry Reyes and Frank Allen, right?
Frank Allen Smith.
Frank Allen Smith.
Yeah.
All right. So Larry was the driver of the Hawaiian and the Super Cuda and Kingfish.
Kingfish.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
So
the Duster. Did you?
Yeah, I drove the Duster a little bit, Mazmanian's car.
yeah. Okay.
I drove my at the Nationals and the Candies and Hughes.
Okay.
I did them all favors, and Roland was with me when we were doing it.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, hey, let's go and kind of start back at the beginning. So, how did you get involved in racing? Because, like, where are you from? What, like, you're not from here, right? You're not from Memphis. Right?
No.
No. Okay. So,
But I'm from California.
okay.
Couldn't even remember.
I could tell by the accent.
I'm from Tustin, California, south Santa by the beach. We were by the beach.
Okay.
And I got my dad left me at the drag strip when I was 14 at Santa Ana drag strip. And he went with me first. And that's where I got interested. Then he'd leave me and come back get me at 5 o'clock or whatever time we set. And that's basically how I got started and started going more. And then I turned 15 and I was driving out in the country on the streets.
Yeah.
And I was racing at about 15 on the streets.
Wow.
And it just rolled along.
Yeah.
And then I met,
Oop, yep.
I met Don Nicholson,
Yeah.
Earl Wade, Sox and Martin, all these guys, but they come out for the Winter Nationals.
Yeah.
And that's how I got started. They just always used to say, "Hey, Larry," or "What, you want to get up here?"
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So your early days, were you working on crews and stuff like that?
No.
You had your own car or what when you
First,
started racing?
yeah.
Yeah.
I worked at a dairy, and there was two sons there, Tom and Lynn, and they like hot rods. And so with them, that's how things started rolling along. And then started street racing, and got in trouble on it, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and
Little CHP action.
I started working for the dairy, Calva Dairy,
Okay.
and went along fine, but me and the two sons, we were racing, which we shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah.
So we'd go out sometimes on Friday, Saturday night, and everyone would, "Hey, bud, do you want to race?"
Yeah.
Because the dairy had a 50 Chevy pickup in the pile from a wreck. The boys took it out. They went down and ordered a Corvette motor, put Corvette trans, rear end, everything in it, and been on the dyno. And that sucker was fast.
I was going to say, so we talking 60s here? Or
Early
60s.
60s.
early 60s?
Yeah, 60, just say 61, 62,
Okay.
Wow. But anyway, I got involved with that and it was fast. And I said, well, if you can beat this, we'll go get the other car. And, it was a 59 Chevy with a bored out stroker and all that junk.
Yeah.
But I got caught.
Yeah.
They hauled, and this was, the pickup belonged to Calva Dairy. It was a company truck.
Oh. That's
It
probably
was a company truck. And anyway, they got me, hauled me to jail, handcuffed the heck out of me. And but when I was driving for Coleman Taylor, I'm talking about the transmission shop now, for Calva Dairy, we would race it and try and be careful. But, cops, you could see them coming at night to the moon.
Oh, yeah.
And anyway, some people from Santa Ana wanted to race, and so I said, okay. And they wanted to race for money. And we wouldn't race for money. They really get mad. I said, I ain't got any money. About $3. Anyway, we went out there and took off racing, and I saw the cops coming, and I said, and there was 12 people in the back of the truck. They all jumped out, and they came, and the guy was racing, was facing the way the cop was. Well, the cop got real close to me, and I spun around him and took off, and of all the things, he turned around and chased me. But the guy that was with me, and I still remember his last name was Duhamel, he said, "Larry, slow down. We're going to get killed. I can't see." Driving no lights.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, well, maybe I can talk myself out of this. Well, I couldn't.
Man.
And they took me to jail. They made me, I had to ride around with them handcuffed for 2 hours. But they were taking notes on me. Anyway, when I got to the dairy, the Santa Ana jailhouse,
Yeah.
the people in jail knew me because I would deliver the milk in the mornings. I back up a big truck, and
Right.
the sheriffs would come out, and they'd look around and, close the gate. And then they'd let the guys come out and start unloading that truck.
Yeah.
Well, they were making fun of me. "Hey, milkman, you're in trouble now, aren't you? We ain't going to get no milk in the morning." So I got out that night, too, though. It was $500 to get out.
Wow.
And then I had to get a lawyer, so I went get out of it. And I knew that lawyer because his daughter, I went to school with her. And what he said, Larry, and when they went to court, and he said, "I do this." He said, "Larry, be here be here at 10 minutes before court opens." He said, "Be on time or it's going to mess us up."
Yeah.
Well, he said the judge is coming out early. And it worked the way he said it was. And he called my name Larry Reyes, drag racing, so forth. He said, "Who's the arresting officer?" "He's not here
You
yet."
wasn't there yet.
And they said, case dismissed.
Dismissed.
So I took off because I had a milk truck out there in the parking lot. And what happened next?
You were 15 years old at that point?
No, I
in
was
time?
16,
16.
17. This is during 16, 17, 18,
Yeah.
as I grew up.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's how it got started. But then the dairy got a letter, and they called me, Tom, and Lynn, and Chet up front. And he was just talking to his brother, Mr. Hunt, was talking to his half-partner.
Yeah.
And he says, "Son," he used to always call me son, Mr. Hunt. He'd say, "Read this letter." And it says, "Highway Patrol, California." And the letter read, "Your vehicle, license number so-and-so, was involved in a street race. And it was impounded." The dairy didn't know that either, but we got it out.
Wow.
And anyway, all Mr. Hunt said, he was the owner of the company.
Yeah.
He said, "I want you boys to be more careful." Man, I thought he was going to fire us all.
Right.
And that's how my first deal got started.
So did they happen to take a mugshot of you?
Yeah.
Tell me you have that mugshot.
No.
Man.
They even did the fingerprints.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That would make a cool T-shirt. I'm just saying.
That was too far back. I couldn't remember.
Right.
And then things went on, and I got caught for being a litter bug. And I had a Corvette then.
Wow.
And my first peach seed was bad, rotten. So I threw it out. I was going to say the window out the top.
Yeah.
And some guy started following me in like a 50 Chevy, a little green one, or some 52 or whatever. But he was a cop. I didn't know it. And we stopped going to Palm Springs. He followed me. When he caught me at a stop sign, he jumped out and says, "You're under arrest, citizen arrest." And I said, "For what?" He said, "For being a litter bug." And I said, I ain't no litter bug. That was a rotten seed. And I started to take off, and he pulled the gun on me.
Wow.
You know, that was
So California was that serious about that
Well,
in the
this was-
60s?
this was in out there in the desert outside of Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Dang.
And they got me and took me to jail. And I had a girl with me, and she followed me, and then she stood on the hood because she says, Larry, how do I get home? And it's in my wallet is in the glove compartment. If I can't even remember if it had a glove compartment.
Yeah.
But I'll get out of here. So I fell asleep, took a nap, and then they woke me up and says, come on, we're going to go feed you. I was barefooted. Okay? And we went to a little restaurant out there in the middle of nowhere, and the sheriff goes, give this guy a prisoner's meal. Everyone just turns around. So I couldn't do anything. I just ate, and then they took me back. But
What was it, a bologna sandwich?
it was less than that. But when I got back in the restaurant, we didn't go back. Went back to the jail. And then pretty soon someone said, Mr. Reyes is to be released right now. I got out. And then again, you have to have a little bit of help with that lawyer.
Yeah.
But he said, best you pay that $500 they want because them little towns will get you.
Yeah.
So I paid it, and then it kept going on like that in our life. And
How'd the girl get home? That's what I want to know.
she found her way home. She found her way home.
So your record looks like mine then, is what you're telling me.
Well, I don't think it's that bad.
I was like,
Hold on,
it was
Larry.
a
You don't
peach
know how bad
Nah.
my record is.
He told me.
It was a peach pit. Mark.
That's-
So
That's
there's
it.
some
That-
truth to that. So
That's
yeah.
how I got started, though.
Yeah.
You know, that
So what was
knowing
the first?
all them guys and
Yeah.
them helped me. And then one guy called Tom Stern and wanted me to go back east with him. And back then they had all the factory cars, you know, the Comets, the Fairlanes, and all that. So I went with him, and he was sponsored by Saxon Sons, and he had a Mercury, but it was Class A. It was a big, bulky thing. But that was one of the factory cars with the Comets and Fairlanes. I can't remember. Oh, they had some Pontiacs out there, too. But anyway,
GTOs.
yeah. But that's how I got started and went back east with him, stayed. I said, Tom, I got to get back. I only got 2 or 3 days left. I told him I'd be gone 6 weeks. So we were at Ford plant all the time. Ford came up to me and says, come on, I got someone to take you to the airport tomorrow morning. So sure enough, I got up, they put me first class.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd never been on an airplane before.
Wow.
That's, you know, when I was about 23.
Right.
And
So you were just strictly a driver?
I wasn't a driver. When we got out there, he wanted me to start driving. I go, and I said, Sturm, I don't have my, it was stick shift. And some of the cars I was driving were automatics, but I could do it. So anyway, I did, and it was Dick Landy. Anyway, he beat that old sled, that Mercury. But the next year, Sturm wanted me to come back again. I said, man, I can't take off again, which I could.
Yeah.
He said, get that 6 weeks again. So I did. But when I got this, the first stop was here, Memphis,
In Memphis.
Lakeland.
Yeah, lately.
And we had a
Big
booking there, yeah. And we got there, and the car got warmed up, and Sturm says, you have to drive. You know, when the 4-speed
Right.
little Comets and all that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't used to it. It was stick shift, and I got beat first, second, third round.
So your first professional driving run was in Memphis, Tennessee?
Yeah, drag racing, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Then the next day, but I won about 7, 8, 9 weeks in a row then. And big factory cars, you probably don't know these people, but Dick Brandon Ford and I can't remember either.
Yeah.
But Nicholson, Shartman,
Grove.
Grove,
Grove,
yeah, Tommy
yeah.
Grove, right? You might remember some of them, Frankie, but that's how I got started, driving them cars. And then they went to fuel cars, the funny cars, about a year or two later. And Bill Taylor in Memphis, I'm talking about, and Larry Coleman,
Yeah.
Right.
they said, I told them I'd see him. And then when I started going out the door, Larry Coleman says, Larry, Bill Taylor wants to talk to you. So I turn around and go back, and he goes, and they used to call me Pineapple. He
Right.
goes, Pineapple, if I build a here, there sort of funny car, will you drive it? And I said, what's it going to be? And he said, a Plymouth Barracuda. And he says, I've never done this before, but I want to do it, and I want you to drive it. So I wasn't going to say no. So I went home, and the next day he called me. I had to turn around and come back, and I was driving.
Yeah.
So I helped what little bit I could because didn't know what we were doing. But it was a Hemi, 426 Hemi. It was blown. He said, I want to put a blower on it too. When we made this deal, he said, I want to put a blower on it too.
Yeah.
And we're going to run fuel. We got that car running and shortened the wheelbase, which we shouldn't have done. But we went out to Lakeland. The first time we started it and got it running and all that. And it was about 10 o'clock, so no one could be out there. And there was about 10 people out there. Anyway, Bill said, I want to make the first run. So you ever go to the zoo and see monkeys?
All the time.
Well, Bill's nephew had got in the car, and I did too. And we were holding on the roll bar. We went down the track.
Wow.
And then we didn't pull no chute yet or anything. And so Bill said, okay, it's your turn. See what you can do. And I went 1, 2, but it wouldn't shift. And I told Bill Taylor, that thing did shift. You're just scared of it. I said, I ain't scared of it. He says, everything's okay on it. It will shift. So I nailed it and went down there, and it wouldn't shift. So I just let it stay in second gear with my foot down. And the pop-off valve came off. The crank went into the converter.
Oh, wow.
And I said, Bill Taylor, you told me don't get out of it. He said, I know it's my fault. But that's basically how I got started with them cars. And
Yeah. So were you then living here at that time then?
mm-hmm.
So you moved here and were you working for Bill Taylor or I mean, were you full time?
Well, I helped Roy Jones. I knew all of, from the sports car place out there, and I knew everyone there. But I did work for Bill Taylor a little bit. But we got the car going and painted and all that. And then we went to Pomona for the Nationals by myself. No one. I recruited.
No crew, no nothing.
I called my buddy Jim Bryson, and I said, "Meet me at the gate." So, you don't know anything, but I knew that Enderley can't. Enderley, and I said, "Can't. I don't want to blow this thing up. It's got 25% in it, but I want 75%. But I need you to put the right, whatever your magic is." But I ran McEwen the first time, and McEwen barely beat me. But I only made one pass, and it just grew from there, and then we went to the Super Cuda.
So did you load that thing up? Was it open wheel trailer and you just drove to
No,
Pomona?
we had a Dodge truck.
It looked
It
like a
was-
rollback wrecker.
Yeah,
Is what it looked like.
That you
it
drove
was-
to Pomona.
It was going to be their company wrecker, to haul cars,
Right.
to bring, for the transmission.
Yeah.
If they lost transmission, that's what it was going to be. And he says, "No, we need a truck right now. started working on the truck too.
So
It was it was a 6-cylinder.
Nice.
We had to put ramps down and then winch the car up.
onto the truck.
Yeah, it wasn't no rollback, but that's what it looked like.
It was a wedge
whatever.
back.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
a wedge back. Yeah.
Cool.
It
Very
was
cool.
it was embarrassing.
And you drove it 24 hours, 25
Man,
hours?
that had to be
it took us about. What I did it myself,
That's awesome.
and
3 days.
I had to
That
get
was a kingfish.
the
right?
kingfish,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then after that, it went to the Super Cuda.
So the Kingfish was the Barracuda that you started with.
Yeah,
Okay.
and to build another one, Jay Howe built it, but and we did a lot of learning and did pretty good with it.
Yeah.
And we got where we could beat a lot of the people that were involved with the stuff before us. But then we built a new car. He sold the car to Smallwood, the Kingfish. That kid was 16 years old and driving a Corvette. Smallwood was.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he asked Bill Taylor how much he wanted for it. And I can't remember Bill truck and all, 12,000, 16,000, whatever.
What a deal.
The whole
Yeah.
car.
Give anything for that now.
Yeah, but he called, Smallwood called Bill Taylor and says, Mr. Taylor, I got the money. You know.
At 16.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
they owned the bank.
Oh, well, that makes more sense now.
But he came and met Bill Taylor, and he says, Smallwood says, Mr. Bill, meet me at Union Planters at 10 o'clock. I'll be there. So Bill thought he could be kidding, but he went, and the kid was there, and they gave him cash right there.
Wow.
He was no adult with him or anything.
At 16 years old.
Yeah.
That's epic.
And then it kept rolling along with the Super Cuda and all that. And that song, we were good at that. Tell them what they said.
Well, the Super Cuda, that's when I worked for the track. My aunt and uncle got me a job. I was working on the gates.
At Lakeland?
At Lakeland.
Okay.
And
Dig that.
man, that was the only job I had really.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I would, sign them in. Those cars was coming in, and all kind of race cars and these traveling cars like Super Cuda and places like. And boy, that was my dream, was to be get one of those cars. Really, it was to drive one, but.
Yeah.
That wasn't no.
Never
brother.
gonna happen.
After I was sitting one and go to give it a little gas, I said, brother, this ain't me. Things scared me. But anyway, and so finally, it was my junior year. I traveled with the Super Cuda a time or two before they went. What happens? These cars all go to California through the winter, and that's where they kind of fix them up and find out who's the baddest mule in the barn and all that stuff. And then come spring, they start coming back, and they start racing all the tracks around everywhere. Well, anyway, to make a long story short, when I graduated from high school, I got my diploma, handed it to my daddy, got on the race truck, and took off with them. I didn't even party that night.
Dig that. That's awesome.
We were waiting out in the parking lot.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely thought that was what I wanted to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I did. I got to see the world. I went from Canada to right at California, Mexico, almost Mexico, and then everywhere, just in seeing all these places that I never would have went and saw. But anyway, let me get back where I was. Let's see. So anyway, so I finally got with the Super Cuda, and that's when I really met Larry. Now I knew the owners of the Super Cuda,
Right.
Bill Taylor and Pat Collins, and Pat really is the one that got me started in there.
I love Pat.
Yeah,
Good dude.
Paid me $50 a week plus my expenses.
What year was that?
68.
Oh, he was
Not
over.
bad money straight out of high
I
school.
haven't done it for nothing,
No,
but I
no,
don't
he
want
was-
to tell them.
Right.
He was overpaid.
Really, yeah. Anyway, so they called us. It was me and Larry Reyes, Bill Taylor, and Pat Collins. And they called us Gomer, Goober, Cooter, and the Kid. And I was the kid.
That is awesome. That'd be a good T-shirt too.
Yeah. But anyway, some man, I don't even remember, I can't remember the names, but he owned like 5 racetracks, and he booked us just, if he could get the Super Cuda, he wanted it. Because he told us he said Super Cooter's the winningest funny car in the nation in 1968. And we didn't lose much. I
Yeah.
mean, now we had a lot of luck. I agree there. But this is the reason we didn't win. We won somebody. Everybody was after Larry.
Yeah.
They wanted him to drive for them.
Yeah.
But
It probably didn't hurt that it was a beautiful car as well.
oh yeah,
Man,
oh, yeah.
that car was beautiful.
Well, see, I was a kid and I couldn't go to no bars. I just, so when we'd go to the motels to stay there for that night, well, I'd have to stay with the car. And or they'd put me watching the car at a speed shop or something, to display it.
So you slept in the car?
Huh?
You slept in the car?
No. I pretty well should have. No, when they would go off, whatever they was going to do,
Him and Pat slept together.
They put the kid.
Oh,
they put the kid with it, and I'd have to.
So when they were going to the gentleman's club,
Yeah.
you were
right,
staying
I
with them.
couldn't go. I could never go. Anyway, but anyway, I would tell the darndest lies about that car. I'd tell them people would come up that I drove it, and I, did
Right.
They were never going to see them again.
It was your car, man.
That's right. Yeah,
So,
this is my car. I built in my backyard.
So did Eddie Wilbanks, did he paint that car? Did he paint the Super Cuda?
I don't know.
No, it was. I can't remember the guy's name, but
Maybe it was the Super Duster that I'm thinking.
He painted a Super Duster.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He was painted and.
So Larry, how'd you meet Roland?
I met Roland when I drove up to Keith Black Racing Engines, and I was going to pick up some gaskets and some other whatever stuff. And but I knew there was a lot of race cars in there from all over the states. Going to drag race at the big race in Orange County.
Yeah.
And so I went in and got my parts, and I said hi to some of the guys. They hollering, and I came back out, put the stuff in the truck, and I turned around, and someone was coming out the front door, and it was Roland.
Yeah.
And he came up to me, and he says, "Hi, I'm Roland Leong." And I said, "Well, I'm Larry Reyes." And then he said, "No." I said this before. There was a lot of people wanting to drive that car. A lot of people.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't give no one an answer. And I didn't even know him, but he came out to me and says, "You want to drive my car?" Just about like that.
Yeah.
And I said, I got a car to drive. And he said, "Well, I said, I'll think about it."
Yeah. And at that time you were driving the Super Duster, right? Or
No,
another one?
what was that drive? I can't even remember the car.
The car after the Super Duster.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll come back to it when I think about
Right,
it.
yeah. It'll hit you in 10 minutes.
But it's I think it was a car I was driving. I can't remember. It was just mine
Yeah.
because I was already to make a different transition. But I wasn't thinking about rolling. It's the furthest thing from my mind.
Yeah.
But anyway, when he came out and said that, I said, "Oh man, I already got a car now." And I said, "I'll let you know next week. Let me think about it." And he called. He said, "Have you made up your mind?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And that's how our relationship got started,
Yeah.
because he dealt with Perdome and a lot of different groups, and I got to know them all too then.
So at that point did you move back to California, or were you still here?
I was still here,
Okay.
but I flew back and forth, and I stayed with Roland a lot at his house.
Okay.
And and then if I got tired or, because that thing wear you out, you don't sleep or nothing, I'd fly home.
Yeah.
But
So I got a question. It'll maybe off subject a little bit, but you said that they called him Pineapple. So how did you get called Pineapple, and then you met a Hawaiian guy?
I don't know, but they started calling me Pineapple. Bill Taylor,
Yeah.
and because they thought I knew Roland. I said, even before.
Even before you were running for Roland.
Yeah, they always thought I knew him.
That's funny.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, Colm Taylor, even when I got hurt, they were there for me. They were good people. I mean, good people. They really are.
Yeah.
And But anyway, back to Pineapple me.
Yeah.
But that's what they used to call me, and they'd call Roland Pineapple, and we both turn around,
That's funny.
And that's how that got started.
Yeah. So you started running the Hawaiian. Was it called the Hawaiian at that time?
All Roland's cars were called the Hawaiian.
Okay.
It's top fuel cars and everything,
Yeah.
and they were all called the Hawaiian.
Okay.
But then I got involved with Roland, and sure enough, after the Winter Nationals, it was wide open. Well, the chassis was being built right then, and by Logie Stamping,
Okay.
and the body was already there.
I forgot what
I
was
can't
it?
remember who did the aluminum though. I thought I can't remember who did it. Don Hardy, that's it.
Don Hardy.
Because we didn't have anyone. All the aluminum shops were backed up. Hardy put aluminum work in it.
Okay.
Then I went back to California. Then it got painted the blue, and they made that car immaculate. I mean, I didn't like the car after I got in it, but they ran the wiring through the chassis, and
And what was the body? Was it a 71? What
it was a Charger.
Charger? Okay.
It was a 69 Charger.
69. Okay.
Yeah, but you got in that car, and because no one's there to get fitted in it, Jay Howe got in it, and the seat was big, uncomfortable. The brakes would not work. The rear end, the locker wouldn't work. You couldn't see out of the car, And but we went out, made the first pass Friday, I think it was, and it went number one. But they only had eight cars that year, and I was lucky. I was number 8.
So was this a NHRA event?
It was Pomona.
Okay. Oh, at the Pomona.
Yeah.
All right.
And then it was number 8. We had to run. I can't remember who we ran. It's Jungle Jim.
Okay.
Wow.
Lieberman.
That was your first
No,
race of that car.
no, it was a guy in Texas. It wasn't Jungle Jim. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I didn't want you to feel good about it. But that's who our first event was, Sunday morning. But I think we had 3 qualifying runs, and we were at the bottom of the list. But the car, Chrysler was involved with the car too. And they said, what's wrong with that car? It needs a spoiler in front. So they stayed up all night and built a real neat spoiler for the front of the other car.
Yeah.
Big, it was like a snowplow. And man, that car got away from me after the 8th mile. It just took off.
What was it? So was it the first time that you guys had put that spoiler on the front of it?
First time.
So it probably
It was eliminations, and everyone said, we got it now. We, going, it's going to work and all that.
Yeah.
But
the problem with the car
lock-
though was that it
the
was
locker would lock up.
okay.
And then you get going down, starts going like this, and then I thought I'm going to stay in just a tad longer.
Yeah.
That I didn't even make it where I was making it before, and the car just took off just like that.
So no testing, none of that. You just threw the spoiler on and rolled out in the middle of a race.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's
Yeah,
it's
and
ballsy.
No doubt.
and I think I said Roland sold the car. I mean, he took everything out.
Yeah.
A guy bought it. I think he gave $2,500 for it. I can't remember. It's been a long time, but I believe it was $2,500. He straightened it out and put it a Chevy 2.
Chevy 2 body on it.
Yeah. It would flip up, 2-seater. And he put roll bars and all that in it. And he cruised in Pomona or L.A., anywhere he cruised.
Man, I wonder if that car's still around,
I don't know. Someone
Like-
asked about it years ago.
I was
but-
going to say, that seems like one of those kind of cars that just kind of, it'll come out of the woodwork someday,
Yeah.
Down the barn or
Yeah.
something.
a lot of guys, as years went up by, they're trying to find cars that could restore because
Right.
you could sell $500,000-$600,000 that restored 700,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're getting to be worth money to get some of those old ones.
Oh yeah, and they found that car in Hawaii.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Wow. Did
Yeah.
Roland take it there?
No, Roland didn't want to fix all his
Yeah.
old cars. He wanted new ones,
Right.
Right.
So
But-
somebody else had actually bought it and taken it back to Hawaii.
Ted Guth.
Okay.
He called me one day, and I didn't know him. And he asked me questions. How can you identify that car? And I said, well, you just tell me what seat, how the brake pedal, or something that we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And so about 3 or 4 days later, he called me from Hawaii. And he described it to me, and it had it was a seat that told what it was. It was the Tony Nancy seat. And the car had a Tony Nancy seat, and it was still in excellent condition.
Wow.
Wow.
And then so he bought the car, and he bought another one up there for spare parts, and they shipped it in a container. And then Ted used to call me every day. Am I doing this, that, and this and that?
Yeah. What do I need to do here?
Yeah,
Or
but
yeah.
that's the car.
That's cool.
He restored
That's
it,
awesome.
Wow.
and he did a good job on it. If it'd been here, it'd been better though. Really would have.
Yeah.
And then we took it around. They NHRA wanted Pomona, and they wanted it here, they wanted it there. But anyway, he started getting bites on it. And then, but he sold it to a guy, well, not a guy, it was a woman that bought it.
Really?
Really nice lady. She had Sox and Martin cars, and
Oh wow.
he has the Hellcat and what's the other one's name? The Hellcat, and it was the Dodge.
Oh, the Demon.
Demon, he had
170?
one of those
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Or she did, whatever.
Wow.
But they're good people.
Yeah. That's
Very
cool.
cool.
Is it in a private collection, or is it?
It's in a private collection,
Okay. Cool.
and it's in a. He calls it a museum. It is a small museum. It's got air conditioned. The shop. It's a real nice shop. Got lifts in it. They don't do anything with it, but have parties or dinners in there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's what I'd like to have. I'd like to have a place where people actually come out to my house, but nobody drives all the way out there.
well, the thing about it, Ted sold it. I can't even think of the guy's name right now. Come to my mind. Ted sold it, and then this guy, he didn't know it, but he had a buyer. Roland came up to me. He says, "Well, we were at the same place." And Roland says, "Larry, some friend of mine from Hawaii wants to buy that car. They want, and so we went up there and talked to the people. They were there too. It was a big event. And he said, we have a buyer for the car, and he said, but I'm gonna sell it. And the first going bid said, well, the guy said 675. He'll give you 675,000.
Wow.
And the guy says, no, we don't want to sell it. He said, my wife won't let it go.
Yeah.
And then I had to write my name on the quarter panel of the car.
Yeah.
And she says, that'll make sure it doesn't go anywhere. They still have it.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. That's
So
cool.
what was the next car?
Well, that car, after we got it, went through that cycle of painting and motor, putting the chassis together and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that was later. We took it, we got that car, and there's a picture up there in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That car, that was the day before we got it done.
Okay.
And we were just at the racetrack starting it and making a burnout and stuff like that. And it wasn't painted. It didn't and they were trying to cut the spoiler off in the back. I said, no, don't cut that spoiler off. And it's got a flat thing on the front, flat spoiler, whatever you want to call it. But we got it ready, and then all the cars started coming in. And I put my Hawaiian shirt on to look good.
Shout out to Sean.
There you go.
Yeah.
He wore one just for you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. I wore a Hawaiian shirt. Yeah.
It was actually a sleeve, a collar and all that fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Button down.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And the crowd came in, and it was a big crowd. But then we made about five, six, about 8 passes that day.
Yeah.
You know, because there was it took 4 to win, and 1 there was an extra involved, but we had 2 or 3 passes getting used to it. And I can't remember who we were in the first round, but you know, you don't know for sure what's going to happen. But that son of a gun took off and set Louis T right off the bat,
Wow.
Yeah.
and then it set Louis T again. But that son of a gun was handled good, to feel everything. You set low, and I like to, you know, tilt myself back. And the shifter was good, the brakes were good. And then the freight train, you remember that car?
So what was so different between that car and
This car,
this is the good one. This isn't the one
a
you
good
crashed.
one. NHRA passed after the other car wreck crashed. It had to be the size of a Mustang.
Oh, okay.
It's the same measurements. It's scaled down. I forget how much they took. 12 inches out of the middle, and 18 out of the length, or something like that.
Wow.
But then we had to run the freight train. You remember that dragster?
Yeah.
The gas.
It was I was at the Hot Rod reunion
Yeah.
one year. Yeah.
It was for another 1,000. I got out on him. He couldn't run me down. But we went 2,500 that night.
Yeah.
And then next night we were in Orange County. And I think we made 3,500 that night. But I won again.
So how did payment work for you?
It was just match race.
Was
right?
it a like a split between you and the owners?
Yeah.
Or were you like a set number?
No, I didn't have a number.
Wow.
We just, I think I got 35%.
Okay.
And then we won at Orange County again, a lot of cars. And then we had to go to Carlsbad the next morning. Man, I was wore out.
I bet.
I slept all the way up there driving. Man, I was so wore out. And then, but we won that day too.
That was a good week.
Yeah, I remember the next day or two rolling, we were going to I can't remember what shop it was, but they came out and says, Roland, what? They said, Roland, your shoe saved you, didn't you? You know, they talk like that.
Yeah.
And I go, I didn't even know the guy, but I didn't say anything. But Roland said, I'm glad he did because I was broke.
Right?
Yeah,
No doubt.
the cars had broke him. I mean, he still could call Mama,
Right.
but they were trying to break him from all that.
Yeah.
And but we had a good time that whole year. We won. We came back and won the Winter Nationals with it at the end of the season, or the start of the year. A year later, we won the Nationals.
So was that the year that we may have mentioned off camera about a parachute not opening up?
That was a Super Cuda.
That was on the Super Cup.
Yeah.
Super Cuda.
Yeah.
That was in St. Louis.
I used to pack my shoes.
Yeah.
Right.
He wouldn't
You
let
know.
nobody do it.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
And,
drivers.
and I hated doing that, packing shoes.
Yeah.
I really did.
He didn't trust us. He
well,
mixed
then-
his own fuel. He wouldn't let us mix
I
it.
mix my own fuel.
Wow. Okay.
Most
I'll tell you
drivers do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but back then, I didn't want to do that either. I was lazy.
Yeah.
But then I'd mix it, and Bill Taylor gave me instructions what to do, how much fuel to run on. He says, I don't want any more 52% in that car, because it would, well, no, it had a little bit of compression. That was
Bill Dunn.
that was the other car. But anyway, I mean, this was in Boston, I think, wasn't it? Or in some 8th mile track. You know, they had nice tracks up there.
Yeah.
And the cars were good cars. But Pat comes up to me, what are you going to do? And I said, I'll put 57 in it. 5% meant a lot to
Yeah.
you.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
On 8th mile.
Right.
And I had a race.
One time, we mixed it, and he knew that we'd bumped it up. Larry knew, come out of the car. He knew it
Yeah.
right off the bat.
From driving it.
Oh,
you're
you can
like,
tell.
That's too peppy.
Yeah.
No, you can tell on a fuel car, you start hopping and you just put your hand on you can feel the roll bar doing it.
Wow.
You can feel the vibration.
Just a vibration.
Yeah, I could tell how good the car was going to do, if I was going to burn a piston or anything.
Right.
The Super Cuda, Bill Taylor built the motors. We didn't go to no Keys Black or Pink or none of them.
Right.
He built their own motors in his garage behind his house.
That's cool.
Listen to this. Now the average Pink motor, Black motor, run about 12 runs, 13 runs. They'd have to do something with them. We run 49 on one and 52 on the other.
What?
Runs
What?
before we pull the heads. Well, we might have pulled the heads a time or two through it.
We
Wow.
had,
Well, I
that's
think he
what,
pulled the motor and rebuilt it after that.
no, we had,
4 and 6 times the amount of runs.
Well, let me tell you why. Because we changed that oil.
Because you
Every
changed
time.
your oil.
Nobody else done that. They thought we was crazy. Kendall came to us and said, "Look, y'all got to do something. Y'all burning too much oil." And Bill Taylor said, "Well, we'll just swap. We've been wanting Pennzoil afters or something like that." Oh, okay, never mind. Let's get it back up real quick.
He called their bluff.
Yeah,
Nice.
but I
Well,
mean,
Bill-
this is the truth. Bill Taylor.
Bill Taylor, when he gets irritated, get bothered, and he'll just tell you like it is. He's real nice about it,
That's
Best
awesome.
man,
But,
most good man you ever met.
Yeah, he is. He really was. But and then we had to drive from Boston or New Hampshire, wherever it was. Where did we go to? All the way to California.
I don't know. They lived in that
Wow.
truck, man.
Man, yeah.
Man, that's a hard life in there.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
So were you married during this time?
Yeah.
You were.
Yeah.
And your wife didn't travel with you?
No, every once in a while.
How did that work out?
I don't know. That's a long
Right?
Hey, when you marry a true racer, you got to take second place.
Yeah,
That's
for
about
sure.
What it amounts to.
Yeah, you
Right.
gotta know.
You know, you got to
Well,
know that.
you
He
know-
loves me, but I'm number 2.
Right.
Though, Perdone would go home. Jungle Jim wouldn't go home.
Larry would go home.
Yeah, I'd go home.
Yeah.
I was wore out. I didn't want no more.
He'd
Yeah.
get on that plane. We'd leave a racetrack and came to the airport. And then
Yeah.
he'd fly, and then we'd pick him up at the airport at the next track. One time, Bill Taylor, it was out to make money. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we raced. One time we left here and we raced St. Louis, Missouri on a Wednesday night. We raced Sharon, Pennsylvania on a Thursday night. Union Grove, Wisconsin on a Friday night. Back to Pittsburgh for Saturday and Sunday night. 5 nights in a row.
Wow.
I mean, we was numb. We was like zombies.
And you guys were driving the whole way?
Yeah,
Driving
drive that
back and
car,
forth?
yeah.
Wow.
Now Larry had to stay with us all that time. He couldn't get home and back in time.
Was there a sleeper on the truck at least?
It was for one man.
Sleeper.
one
So that's
man.
where you were at.
Yeah.
You were in the sleeper?
No,
No,
he
Pat
drove.
Collins. Yeah,
Pat was in the sleeper?
but I used to get, when you're coming home or on the road,
Right.
I would, and it was a gravel road, the end of the highway, the road's going this way, and all that gravel along the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd run off the road on purpose.
To wake Pat up?
Yeah, Pat and everyone.
Hey, I remember.
And I'd say, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I fell asleep for a second. I'm okay." Bullshit.
You did intentionally.
That is
Yeah, I did
epic.
Hey, he done. Me and him was going to Nashville, and it was just me and you. I guess Pat was going to come up there or something. And I did run off. I did fall asleep and run off the road, but I didn't wreck nothing. I was back on. He
Right.
come out of that sleeper, and buddy, he did get over. You
Yeah,
ain't
yeah,
driving no more, kid.
You get scared, when you're,
Well, you can't rest when somebody does that.
Oh no.
Yeah, no doubt.
And people have got killed while the Super Cuda had lost. They sold it, and again, the kid was 16 years old, and his dad bought it for him.
That's epic.
And then they don't know, he fell asleep coming down to the Ozarks. He made a curve,
Yeah.
and he hit a semi.
Oof.
That was the Kingfish, wasn't it?
No,
Super
Super
Cuda?
Cuda, yeah.
Super Cuda?
Very
The kid, the 16-year-old kid?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was the Super Cuda. His dad bought it for him. And then after I wanted to give up for a year, slow down.
That's right. Yeah.
And I didn't want to do anything. I mean, you just wore out and get burned out. And I didn't.
Bill
Some
Taylor
people.
booked you, brother.
Yeah.
You roll.
Yeah.
And I just got tired. And Mazmanian called me one morning for the Winter Nationals. And he wanted to know if I'd drive the car. And I said, "Oh, man, if he just left me alone for 2, 3, 4 weeks, I'd have been okay. I could have started again." But I finally said, because he's a good friend of mine, I said, okay. So I did it. Nice. The car surprised me. It was a brand new, state-of-the-art. It was nice. He had my name on the car. He had... what else did he have? He had the name of the car. But anyway, he promised, he says, "Larry, I want you to drive this car." That's, because I didn't even know what we were doing. I thought he had another car. But it was nice.
This is a funny car, right?
Funny car.
Everybody was after Larry.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew how to do it.
So anyway, I said, "I'll do it this time." He said, "But I want to talk to you when you get out here." And I says, "Okay." Well, the guy offered me an arm and leg to drive that car, and he says, "Larry, if you don't drive this car, it'll never leave California." It never did.
Wow.
But it was nice. But
So you turned it down, is what you're saying?
I turned it
didn't-
down.
Yeah, okay.
And then me and Royce, that's the brother that his brother got killed,
Yeah.
and they built another one. So I said, "But I don't want to race very much this year." So we didn't. But we never pushed the car hard either, because I hate to work on cars.
Right.
And then we were going Ohio, and we were at the racetrack, and Dickie Harrell,
Yeah.
he's a friend of mine, so we pitted together a lot of times.
Okay.
And then I leaned on the car one time, and I wrote 248 back then on Pirellis. But Pirelli just started having trouble back then. Just started. And we were going to put new Goodyears on the front. Well, I lost the right front tire, and the rubber and all tore the fender off the car. But that car just flew, and racetracks weren't safe then.
Right.
And that son gun hit a culvert, and that's what broke my back.
Really.
And then it flew in the culvert, and big manhole where water goes,
Right.
like a little bridge. And I thought, this is it for me. And it center punched that thing and flew 160 feet over the highway.
Wow.
And then it about knocked me out because I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
People running up there, and they got close to me. I said, don't anyone touch me. I'm going to let someone I know help me. And the place didn't have a ambulance.
Right.
It had a station wagon
Oh.
with the back seat out. And then it had the hospital bed rolling around in there.
Oh yeah.
And they had a tank, for breathing, and 2 kids. They were kids.
That two little
And they
kids
were
in there.
scared to death.
Yeah, I bet.
And they started going down that back road to get to the main road, the highway. And that thing was bouncing around. I said, slow down, slow down. And they were just scared to death. And we got going down the road, and the kid didn't know how to turn the
Mask on.
the
Mask
mask. And he was,
He had
said-
to put it on himself.
yeah, I had to put it on myself. I said, I don't want this thing.
Oh,
But that was
So what track was this at?
Elyria. It was not Elyria. It was a hospital. I was in Elyria, but it was one of the big tracks, and it's big now. I don't know if it's still running. It's outside of Columbus. It's
I'm trying to think what's outside of Ohio.
I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Okay.
But I went up there with Bill Taylor one time.
But it's a quarter-mile track.
Yeah, it's quarter mile.
Okay.
Bill Taylor kept asking me, "You want to go see?" And then he said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll go with you." But the track had changed so much.
Yeah.
It was
Didn't look the same.
15 years later. I might have gone out there.
Yeah.
And,
so what year was that?
Well, I was working for Combe Taylor back then. It was I can't remember. It's probably 80.
Okay.
It could have been 80.
Okay.
Uh,
So
but everything was different there.
yeah.
It's like they changed it. And one thing I didn't do was sign the release on it. It wasn't because I didn't want to.
Right.
No one asked me, and I forgot.
Hmm.
So after they did surgery on me, a day or two later, they wanted the track wanted me to sign a release, and the lawyers said you got to get him to sign it. I told him come back the next day. I had to think about it, and I could hardly think anyway.
Right.
Bet.
And I didn't sign it. You know why? I had feelings for all the other racers, and no one would have to go through the price, and
Right.
so
Sure.
I signed it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway,
What car was it? Was the name of the car?
it was the third Super Cuda.
The third Super
Third Super
Cuda.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
gotcha.
kid that owned it, well, the friend that owned it.
Okay.
So how long did you run the Hawaiian for?
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years.
I think
Okay.
maybe 2. Just say 2.
So you crashed the first one of those,
I'd kill him.
right?
Wreck 'em all. Well, back then,
yeah.
them cars were dangerous.
They're squirrely, yeah.
And yeah, I did skate around.
Yeah.
But you have one of these hand grenades going down the road, and you don't have all these safety features.
Right.
Just like I didn't have enough good enough tires.
Yeah.
And the next, they had a benefit race for me, and Dickie Harrell came to my room because I went, but I couldn't. They had a Jewett brace on me and everything about a month later, but I had no energy, and plus I still hurt. I saw Dickie Harrell came to my room and talked to me a little bit. I mean, a lot of people did.
Yeah, I bet.
And then same thing happened to me is what happened to him.
Wow.
But he hit an oak tree in the car. They couldn't get him out.
So in your wreck, you lost the tire, and that's what caused the wreck.
Yeah, but it's high speed impact.
And you had already decided you wanted to calm back racing and.
I was
speed
gonna
racing.
I was gonna slow down for you.
Closer. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had already started wanting to calm down.
Yeah.
And you were just.
Me and Royce were just gonna piddle around, and we did, and that's when I got hurt.
So on that year off that you took before this, prior to the wreck, what did you do during that point in time? Did you just get a normal day job, or
Oh no, I didn't do anything.
you didn't do nothing?
Work for Bill.
No, yeah, whatever someone wanted, or
Yeah.
But when I didn't want to do anything, I got hurt maybe 3 or 4 months later.
Oh wow.
You know,
Okay.
and
So you weren't out for long.
No.
Yeah.
no,
Wow.
Dang.
and back then I was always wondering I ought to
Yeah.
go back and do this,
Right.
but I got hurt.
How did that affect your wife, your family? That was probably pretty hard on everybody.
Well,
right?
I still remember my dad in the hallway.
Yeah.
He says, "You guys don't worry about him. He'll be okay. He'll survive." That's what my dad always said. I could survive.
Right.
And I did. I went
And
to
you have.
I went to work. I went to California after I got healed a little bit, not about 7 months, 8 months, and I went out there and saw my buddies, and Trey called me, and I went out there to see them, and they had about 3 carloads of people from NHRA and friends and all that. We went to a fancy restaurant, and they paid for everything,
Right.
and which was good.
Yeah.
But then when I got ready to go home, Jardine wanted me to go to work for him.
We still have to pay for him in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So what did you do for Jardine?
well,
Somebody school me on who
Jerry Jardine Hitters.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went to work for Jardine because he asked me. Got my apartment and all that, but we left all the furniture and everything with Memphis. So we did that, and then he said, "What do you want me to do?" And he says, "Oh, I don't know, just do something for a while." I said, and then I got to go out of town. So anyway, he went, and what he made me was general manager after a month or 2.
Very cool.
I used to run the whole show, 50 people,
Very cool.
and then I had to do a lot of traveling, and I didn't like that again. There I was again.
Right.
To the trade shows, the motorcycle shows like SEMA.
Okay.
I did a lot of those, and when I worked for Coleman Taylor too, when
Yeah.
I came back, and I did a lot of SEMA shows and travel again. You know,
You're right back on the road again.
yeah.
It's what you were meant to do, I guess.
I don't know, but I did it. And you meet a lot of people, and you eat a lot of food.
I like that.
Well, yeah, but you have one appointment you have at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Then you got another appointment at 10 in Las Vegas. I wasn't ready for it to eat again, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I went through all that, and then shoot, I don't remember what I did the last time. Nothing. But I never asked for a job. Never.
Wow.
I never had.
That's awesome.
I
So
know.
you've never applied for a job in
No.
your life? Wow.
I never. Someone always asked me on the cars, and Bill Taylor, Coleman Taylor. I never have.
See, I always had to beg for jobs.
Well,
Sounds about right.
then I had Frankie Allen with me.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do.
I
with
was
him.
his good luck charm.
Yeah.
I want to tell you a story about what all the races for the. You start getting there when it sort of gets encircled. You know who you're going to run, who you drew, and all that. You know Connie Coletta, right?
Yeah.
He's got one good eye, one bad eye.
Right.
You know that.
Right.
One eye looks that way.
Yeah.
Frankie Allen was there talking to Coletta. And Coletta wasn't listening to him because he was talking to the wrong eye. You remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
But had a lot of fun, met a lot of people. But you can have a high-speed crash now, and well,
Yeah. Maybe.
yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Yeah. Let's say John Force's crash was pretty.
Yeah,
You
you hit
know,
the guardrail. I mean, the wall and all that.
Man.
We didn't have no wall back then.
Yeah.
Little, I've seen stumps, in the ground like telephone with
Right.
cables that wrapped around it
Yeah.
at Yellow River. I won that thing, and I think got 5,000. It was a real
Yeah.
winner get all. And there's one way in, one way out. Well, the hated running. I was.
Yeah.
I just
like,
snuck
drink
up
that.
one. She wanted to hear it.
This is Mrs. Reyes.
That's right.
Do what? Take my earrings off. What'd you say?
Take a drink.
Oh,
So your voice isn't so gravelly.
We're all gravelly. It's all right.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Larry, you married very well. So
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
you did.
she's my nurse when I got hurt.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's right. That's the story, right? That she was your
She was your nurse?
Yeah.
And that's how you met?
Yeah.
See, he's never had to work for anything.
Wow. Wow.
That's awesome.
It's good.
It's a heck of a
And you know, when I was in the hospital here 3 months ago,
Yeah,
she never left my side.
that's awesome.
Never. She was there, and I had a hard time in there because they said it'd take 3 or 4 weeks at the most. I was in there 4 weeks,
Yeah,
but I was sick. I had malfunction, like tuning a car, didn't do it right.
Right.
But she was there all the time, even now going to, because I had cancer too,
right.
and they did all this testing and this and that, and they say, I can't believe this, but he's clear, you know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And so they did, they wanted me to test again as a new test. And so I got to go through the whole cycle again. I hate it. And then they did colonoscopy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, nowadays though, they,
You know,
it's
put
still
you
not
so-
good.
they
I don't
put you
care
out,
if it's
but yeah.
nowadays. It's not good, man.
no, actually, it's the lead up that's so bad. It's not the colonoscopy itself. It's what you
oh yeah, I throw up every time they got to do it.
Oh,
But when I had to do the colonoscopy, my first time, second time, whatever. My first time, doctor, you know, they give you shots, knocks you out quick. But he says, do you want me to use this one on both ends, or what do you want to do? I go, "Well." So when I wake up, I ask him, he says, I'll tell you next time. So before I had that surgery, I had a colonoscopy about a week before, whatever, again. And it was the same doctor, a real nice guy. He did the same thing to me. And he says, Larry, I'm just going to use one. This is the same one I used last time on you. Yeah. But I got good doctors, good nurses. I had everything.
yeah. That's
I think Sean almost died from a colonoscopy one
yeah,
time.
true story. Colonoscopy story. I know we're getting away from this, but so I'm at the doctor's, and he tells me to disrobe. And I ask him, well, okay, well, where should I lay my pants? And he said, well, yeah, just put them over there next to mine. Yeah, I did have a little goofy thing happen. So there you go.
They're all funny.
There you go.
Well,
Yes.
Gosh.
they have to humor you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's just one of those things where you got to be funny about it. But,
I've actually never had one.
well, you should. Everyone should. If you're over 40, you should. I
think it's 50. I think it's 50. now.
Well, it depends on your history,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at 50 at least, you better.
It's not good.
No, I mean, I've got a friend now that doesn't have part of a colon because of that, and he was young, so
Well, they
definitely
cut
go-
out a third of my gut right here. When they checked me, they couldn't get that thing around it to check. It wouldn't clear that tumor I had right here.
Yeah, man.
And they cut a third of my colon out.
Dang.
Yikes.
And but I still got to take another. I don't like it. You get sick, they make you throw up.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you shouldn't throw up. But I do. And the last half quart of that juice, I got both trash cans around me.
Yep, it is not fun.
Yeah.
So Frank, what did you do? Like, so you went on the road with them and everything, but you only did it for like about 2 years or so, or
Well, no, probably about 8 months.
Oh, really?
In a row. When I went some the year before I graduated through the summer, and then I went to school, high school, and then I started with them the graduation night.
Yeah.
And we raced. I mean, I don't remember all them tracks, the names of them, but like one track we raced at somewhere, he couldn't open the parachutes till we got under a tree, got past a tree,
Jeez.
That
and
was
then
the
he
marker.
could pop the chute.
Oh, yeah, because the tracks were so bad.
Yeah, and I remember the first time we raced somewhere. It's a real country town, and they'd never seen a funny car or heard one.
Yeah.
And them people were all gathered around it because it was a pretty car now. And everybody was gathered around. And when he fired that thing off just to warm it up, people went to running like a bomb when I was scared them to death. It was hilarious.
I love all the first time videos, that you see all the time.
I wish
now.
we'd had one of there.
Oh yeah.
One track we raced at had a chain link fence down both sides of it. And it was like a 4-foot chain link fence. And it wasn't very far off the track. It was
Like
been against
Mike
the
by
law,
Helia or something. Yeah.
And anyway, so here comes Larry down through there. I think he was running by himself. It just one of them Bill Taylor booked us, And so here we go down there. And when the car was coming, the people was running away. Of course, by the time they got 4 or 5 feet, Larry was by them, And here they run back and they got to leaning on that fence, and that fence got to collapse.
Wow.
I wish we'd had a video of that one.
No doubt.
That's funny.
But we seen some things.
Yeah. So what did you do when you came back, when you quit doing that? What have you
Well,
done?
I got offered several jobs with race cars.
Really?
But it just wasn't my life, man.
Really?
It's tough.
Just on the
Traveling,
road.
It is.
staying in motels. One time we came to Memphis. We've been racing. We came to Memphis to run Lakeland. Didn't even spend the night. Stayed there. Went to a motel to clean up before we went to the track, and then left to go to the next track. Didn't even get to go home.
Wow.
I said, I can't. This ain't me.
You were in Memphis and didn't get to come home.
Didn't even get to go home.
Wow.
I mean, I met my family was there, and we met everybody we knew. But-
Right.
So you guys knew Godman and all the Rodder guys, all the Memphis
Oh,
Rodders?
yeah.
Very cool.
Knew a lot of them.
They didn't know me. I mean, I knew them. I was
Right.
just a kid,
Yeah.
Spoiled ass kid.
I had you can't believe the T-shirts I had. Anywhere we went, I guess they thought I knew something, so they'd give me a T-shirt.
That's awesome.
All kind of racing T-shirts, and they always thought we had special motors and stuff. Well, we didn't have. I mean, Bill Taylor had stock rods, didn't he? Stock bearing, stock mains, the whole 9 yards. And they thought we had something special.
The only thing good we had in it
Do what?
was the crank.
Crank.
Yeah.
It was a high performance Chrysler crank,
Ah.
But that's why I never wanted to go to the lights with it. I'd go to the finish line and it shut off.
Shut it down.
But I wouldn't cross it. And I had, if someone was on my tail or was close, I'd go do it wide open. But
Yeah.
Bill Taylor gets mad at it because he wouldn't drive all the way through to see what it really would do.
Right.
He'd shut it off right before it because he was ahead most of the time.
Yeah. So Bill wanted to know the numbers. But
Well,
yeah.
Bill was going to have to build a motor if he blew it up.
yeah, that's what I told
And
him.
Larry thought about that, but Bill didn't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Larry was real conscientious about taking care of the equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took care of Bill's equipment. Or
If
Bill's
you
best.
didn't, you got to stay up all night. And
Yeah. Yeah.
Same with Roland.
Yeah,
I
then
used
you're
to
gonna
do
be
that.
working, right? Yeah.
I used to do the same thing, and he says he learned right away.
Yeah.
How I was, but when we first started running that car at Irwindale, I leaned on it a little bit, and I same with Orange County, but I didn't abuse it. But I leaned on it.
Yeah. Wow.
It's funny when you have if you like cars and all that, and you hear them and you feel them,
You know them.
and you barely touch the throttle, and then you'll go like that.
Yeah.
I remember one time they put me in I was sitting in the thing and they said it was running. I don't know what I was doing sitting in the seat. It was up.
Yeah.
The body was up, and I always thought I wanted to drive one of them. But, I mean, I've been around it, but never sitting in. And they told me, said just touch the gas, Well, I done it maybe a little bit more than I should have.
Yeah.
It scared me to death. And that car was jacked up. It wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah.
I said, I don't believe I want one of these things.
You know, I've seen, I can't even think his name yet. He passed away, but he wanted to drive one of the cars, Bill Taylor in Lake Homa. And they finally going to give him a chance. He had borrowed a fire suit and all that stuff. And the instructions were, get out of, before you get to 8th mile. Just go a short distance till you get the feel of it. He got in the car and fired it. He got lined up in a tree, and then Bill Taylor goes like that, and then he goes, "Ah!" and shut it off. And the car's already doing 70, just that quick.
Yeah.
They jump out there, and he stopped and got out of the car. And Bill Taylor said, "What happened?" He said, "That son's going to kill me. I'm scared of it, Miss Bill."
I'm gonna do it.
I know where he's coming from.
Yeah, it'll scare
I
you.
wasn't about to get in that thing.
It'd take you a while to get used to, I'm sure. But you're talking about blipping the throttle and stuff. They so when we had the grand opening at Edelbrock down in Olive Branch, Clay they brought Clay's car in, so Parts Plus car, and they're going to do a throttle blip for us, which they don't do that anymore. That doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
And so they bring the car out in front of the building, and we had tents and stuff out there. It was rain that day. We had tents, and everybody's under the tents, and they get the car there and they fire it up and stuff. And man, he cracks a throttle on that thing, and it was just deafening, but like more than normal. Like, a blip's just a blip, right? Well, I'm standing at the front of the semi trailer. I'm videoing like all the people out there, because I'm like, I want to get this video of them jumping, whatever. And it hit so hard that it blew the hubcap off of the front of the semi, and it cracked a window upstairs.
Yes.
In the thing. So, and I mean, the guys were holding the car down on the stand. They were holding the wing, and I mean, both of them jumped up in the air like when it hit, and it was like, whoa, somebody had forgot to put the throttle stop on it. So it was like a 7,200, because I mean, he was ready for the throttle stop, so he hit it like the throttle stop would be there, but there was no throttle stop, so it went 7,200. Like,
wow.
Yeah, and broke all the windows upstairs and everything. We had everybody sign it, everybody on the team and everything. They all signed it and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
My favorite thing that Clay ever did, since we're talking about Clay, is when Elvis Presley Enterprises had him go to Graceland.
Oh, yeah.
And he lit up the tires in front of Graceland,
Right.
and they were furious. He was like, I was not supposed to do that. They didn't want me to do that. But I figured this was going to be the only time I was in front of Elvis Presley's in a car, so he did a burnout in front of EP's house. Epic.
Yeah, that was awesome. But, well, I don't know. What do you think?
Shut her down.
I don't know. Yeah, we can shut this thing down, I guess.
thought we were
but-
gonna, I thought
but, yeah.
this was an all-nighter.
Right?
It can be. We can keep on talking. We can talk all night.
I don't even know what time it
Give me
is.
some
Yeah.
money so I
No,
won't have to
so-
tell everything.
All right.
Give me some money so I won't have to tell them.
Yeah.
Tell them.
Yeah,
They won't believe you.
Hold on.
No.
One last thing before we go, just between friends. The single sleeper in the old truck. How
That was-
many times did guys cuddle, and who was it?
Hey, it wasn't that big a sleeper. You didn't get it. I remember one time I was supposed to wake Pat up at such and such a time. My turn to get in the sleeper, and because it got old sitting up trying to sleep
No
in the
doubt.
truck. And so I remember I was just a kid now, and so I'm reaching over and I said, "Pat, my turn." And he looked at me and hit me right in the nose. Man,
Oh, man.
it hurt my feelings, man.
I can see Pat doing that. I can see Pat doing that.
Did he done it? I'm
I
telling
can
you.
see it. I can see it.
And this one here, if you didn't do what he wanted you to do, if your shoes was in the floor, he'd pour them full of water. Ain't no more telling him he done it.
nice.
We had a
Sounds
good
like
time,
fun.
though.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Well, Larry, my introduction to the Rodders reunion was the year that they honored you. that was a big deal for me. It was the first time I'd ever went to that, and I got to see that. So thank you very much. It was good. I learned a lot that night.
Yeah.
Good.
That's awesome. Well, you guys got anything else to say?
No, they're going to have the reunion's going to be good this year.
Yeah.
Yes,
We
sir.
hope so.
I bet it's really going to be
They
good.
gonna honor Pat, ain't they?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna honor Pat this year.
That's it.
We ain't going to tell them, though.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna tell him till it's over.
Just let him.
Hey,
We're actually-
if somebody don't go get him, he won't remember.
We're actually going to cut out that clip where you talked about him hitting you in the nose, and we're going to play that on the big
So
screen.
that's right. Tell him. I went. Let me tell you what he done to me the other day. He called me up. He says, "Where you at?" I said, "I'm in Shelby Forest." And he said, "How quick can you get here?" And I said, "Well, what's the problem? Have you failed?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'm on my way." I said, "Do you need to call 911 or what?" And he said, "Well, no, I'm up right now." And so I haul away all the way from Shelby Forest to where he lives, and he ain't failed. That guy that was staying with him over Lenny or whatever,
Lenny.
he said he's lying. Said he's gonna go to hell for lying. But he had a picture he wanted to give me that he had blowed up, and that's what it was.
I told you he had failed so he could give you a picture. You get over there quick. Wow.
Hey, he's ornery. Pat's ornery, man. But I loved it.
He's going to learn next time, though, when he actually falls.
Hey,
He
I'm
needs
telling you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
but it was a nice picture.
Yeah.
It was a good picture.
Because he got it. Where'd he get it at?
Superstock Nationals. Oh, I don't.
No, it's
It's when we won the Superstock Nationals.
Wow.
And,
there's a small picture of it up there,
but
but it's a big one.
it ain't big as that, but it's almost as big as that picture.
That's epic.
Heck yeah.
I like Pat.
Well, you don't know him.
Right. I know the calm down Pat, the older Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
But he'd do anything Bill Taylor said. Anything.
Hey, Bill Taylor was that kind of guy. He knew how to get what he wanted out of you,
Right.
and he was a good man. No, he was a good man.
That's cool. Heck yeah. Well, cool.
Well, ring us out.
I don't know how to wrap it up because we don't have Javi here, but no, thanks everybody, and
We're not
hey,
ready yet.
Yeah, you want us to keep going?
Yeah, got him.
He's trying to nominate you.
No,
No.
but I appreciate what you guys have done and the work you do to get involved in this. It takes a lot of time.
Really.
Thank you. Yeah,
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 that's a lot of work.
A lot of setup to do all this for sure. Yeah, at some point we're probably gonna do a
Come back tomorrow to get it.
yeah, no, like a place,
a collage?
Yeah, no, we're gonna do
A
We're gonna
montage?
do a permanent place, and then
okay.
and then sometimes we can go out to really cool shops and whatever else. But it's nice because I mean we wouldn't have seen the Wallies. We wouldn't if you guys had come to us, then we wouldn't have seen this photo. We wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah.
So, and we wouldn't have seen the really nice quilt back there, which
Yeah,
is
that
awesome.
was a surprise. That was nice.
Yeah. I mean that's really cool. So that's somebody at church did that for you. Is that right?
When the women at our Sunday school
Yeah.
class, she did it, and I didn't know. But when I walked in the class, she goes, "Oh," gave me some papers, and she goes, "Oh, this for you, Larry."
Yeah.
That's
And I
awesome.
said, "What is it?" She says, "It's for you. It's a gift."
Yeah.
And I said, "What is it?" And
And you got the women at church. They don't know him. They ain't met. They don't know him.
Yeah, right.
You trying to say he's got them pulled?
He got them booed. I
Evidently, he's got
try
everybody.
to warn them every time.
Say,
They don't
evidently,
believe me.
he's fooled everybody his whole life, is what it is. So that's pretty
Good.
nice.
That's good.
Yeah, he's done it good. But no, well, thank you guys so much for doing this. It's
Thank you.
it's been a lot of fun, and we've lost some guys lately, and it put a fire under us that we definitely need to get everybody that we can before they're not here. So we know you're going to be here a long time, but
That's
I was
right.
like, we got to get Larry.
but I'm 84 already.
Yeah, it's awesome.
God, I feel half dead.
Nah.
No. But you guys, this is fellowship.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely.
See, I didn't know you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if you.
Well, I was gonna say the same thing. I didn't know your backstory before this, and I really didn't want to until we did this because I want to know. I wanted it to be
Most of the stuff,
genuine.
Most of the stuff I told you is lies.
That's okay.
When we was at racetrack, we would go to them races. Well, they couldn't believe that these country boys was kicking tail like we was against them California. Everybody in California was supposed to have been the baddest and the best.
Right.
Anyway, and so we just said, they said, well, how did y'all learn to do this? And so our granddaddies ran whiskey. We had to build them cars up and stuff like that. The same old story.
Yeah.
But it was they couldn't believe that Tennessee car. They just thought we was in coveralls and
Sure.
chewing
Right.
tobacco. And they didn't realize it.
Which is kind of true, but that's okay.
Yeah, but
Still won.
Yeah, but-
brother. We walked on them.
They'd come by when you get by the racetrack. There's 7-Eleven, them little stores,
Yeah.
and you need ice and all that.
Yep.
And you don't know some of these guys, and some of the guys don't know you, but you know the car,
Right.
and you know the people with it.
Yeah.
And that was when Goski said, "I'm going to run your ass in the ground out here." All that stuff, talking,
So okay.
That's awesome.
and we'd get chewed out by all them California cars.
Nice.
That's epic.
Yeah.
We, of course, I admit I'm kind of country. I admit that, but people they would come over to the car. They'd hear us talking and everything, and I'd be working on the car. They'd say something like they'd say something, trying to get me to talk to them.
They wanted to hear your accent. That's epic.
All them Yankees up there.
See, I don't know where it happened that everybody decided that the Southern accent means less intelligence.
I mean,
You talk to anybody up north, they think immediately that you're stupid if you speak with a Southern accent.
that's the truth there.
I mean, really, I that's where I'm from. I'm from the north originally, but like,
And he thinks
Yeah.
we're all stupid.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
right.
Nice.
You got one of us.
Well, I would say, it works in this room, I guess, but but there's others out here. But no, I always thought
You
that
go
was-
to order a hot dog and bud it, like we be in between races and go to maybe have time to go order something at the concession stand up in Boston or we raced all up.
Yeah.
north.
Oh,
And I mean it just tickled them. What would you say? What do you want?
you want a hot
We'd go to order
dog?
breakfast in restaurants and they'd listen to us, and they'd say, y'all want some grits?
It's always that. It's always that.
We'd say, well, they corn grits or the hominy grits? They'd say, well, we don't know. We'd run back to the kitchen.
There's a difference.
Whatever they say, we'd say, oh, we don't like them.
It was a lot of fun. It was
It sounds
fun,
Let me
but
tell you,
it was
Pat,
hard.
Yeah.
all expenses paid for me. Paid me $50 a week.
Right.
Plus fed me. And Pat swears that I didn't even look at what I was ordering. I just
He
go down
didn't.
and look at the price list and I'd say, I want that.
the most
the highest
expensive
thing on the menu.
That's right.
Might as
I need
well
a T-bone and eggs.
get your money's worth.
Hey, I ain't good. I'll tell you that. Better than I ever ate in my life.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's funny.
Poor
Well,
you.
all right. Well, we'll wrap this thing up.
You keep saying that,
guys.
but you haven't done it yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
trying to. Every time I get there, y'all come up with another story. I can't help that. So,
I got another one.
Ladies and gentlemen, if
Like I
you'll
said-
send me some money, I'll tell you the true story about this guy.
exactly. That'll be the next one. We'll just not
The
have
real-
Larry. Not
The
have
rest
Larry.
of the story, is that what he said?
So, all right, everybody. Well,
enjoyed
we
it.
are out, and hopefully we'll be back with a few more
Lies.
episodes really soon. So keep an eye out. That's it.
So this,
Thanks, everybody.
thank